It's about that time of day again, folks. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter, boys and girls. Joseph James here. Wednesday evening, June 24th, 2015. I got another jam-packed newsletter in store for you guys. The soap opera continues coming out of Greece. Ranges continue to work well on crude and the S&P. Boy, that S&P is looking pretty heavy right now. It's looking pretty heavy. Before we jump into charts, though, for today's newsletter, I do want to remind you a couple things. First of all, I teach everything we're going to cover in tonight's newsletter to all of our students here at School of Trade. Check out schooloftrade.com. We get a great free trial on the homepage. I'll even shoot you an invite to come out and test drive our live trade room. Also, please make sure you're watching this newsletter video on our trading blog. The address is sidewaysmarkets.com, and there are 3 reasons why it would be in your best viewing enjoyment, right, for you to get over here to sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube page, there's a link right below the video in the description. It'll take you right over here. First of all, 3 reasons why I hope you're watching this video on our trading blog. Reason number 1, you can download all the charts you're going to see me using in tonight's video. You can download all those charts by following that link right below the video. Second thing, number 2, I got a free pass for you to come out and test drive our live trade room as a guest. I'll also shoot this to you as part of our free trial, but if you're not a member here at School of Trade and you're wondering what it feels like to be inside of our live trade room, upper left-hand corner, grab your free pass, and then lower left-hand corner, pardon my ugly mug, you'll see a spot for your name and your email address. That'll allow you to join our nightly newsletter mailing list. That way you never have to worry about missing another newsletter ever again. I'll shoot you an email every evening when that newsletter is ready to rock and roll. So make sure you get over to sidewaysmarkets.com, download those charts, grab your free pass, and register for the nightly newsletter mailing list. Guys, if you register for the mailing list or you grab your free pass, I'm going to send you a verification email, so make sure you check your inbox, outbox, spam folders, heck, check your regular mail. But find that verification email. I'm going to send it your way so you can give me approval to keep sending emails to you in the future. Alrighty? Enough jibber-jabber, JJ. Let's get started here. Starting off with, well, the one and only crude oil futures. We survived Wednesday. We survived inventories. It didn't matter what news we had today. Plan worked flawlessly here on crude oil. Rewind the tape 23 and a half hours ago, and we talked about this price wedge. And as you guys recall, our plan last night, we were up around these highs, was to sell those highs and bring it back down to these lows. So plan worked flawlessly. We're trading sideways inside of a price wedge right now. Perfect execution of the plan today. Sell the highs, take profit at the lows, and we'll continue that until this changes. Remember, the best trades are going to be failures here. So if I'm looking at a price wedge right now on crude, a little bit easier to draw it out here, basically what we're looking for. What do I mean by failures? Okay, well, as the price is moving from high to low, low to high, high to low, right, we call this rotation. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a wedge or if it's a channel rotation, right? High to low, low to high, or if it's a sideways range. Okay, markets always have a mission. They always have an objective. They're not just hanging out like a Sunday afternoon, right? Okay, so we have our price wedge here on crude, and if you think about the price wedge this way, what do I mean by the best trades will be failures? Well, what I mean is you want to think about where the uninformed traders would be trying to buy at the highs and sell at the lows, and then find a way to either buy or sell into where their stop loss would be. So let's say, for example, we go up to the high of this range. Now, I look forward to actually getting through that high, right? Let the buyers have some fun, right? Make them feel like they're winning that battle. Heck, even put more on the trade. Then all of a sudden the pullback happens, and what's going to happen on a pullback? Buyers are going to buy in a pullback. Maybe there's a moving average here, right, that they're going to pull back to and try to buy there. So bottom line is, just like you know about buying pullbacks in an uptrend, look where that pullback would be, and then where do you think that stop loss would be? It's going to be right there. So once you see this thing start to roll over, right, that's you're going to sell right into that stop. What happens is the stop loss, how do you get out of a long position? By selling your way out. use a nice quick first target, lock down that stop loss to the point of entry, and then leave a portion to run down to those lows, right? Down to those swings that we see, right? And so that's what happened on crude oil for today, right? So whatever we think is going on out there right now, we're just simply going to keep executing this plan here until it proves us wrong, right? So price wedge, we know what we're looking for here. I would love to see the sellers try to take this thing a little bit lower, and you know what they're going to do? Whoop, right back up. So keep buying those lows, keep selling those highs, and use those failure patterns. Now remember, you're not alone out there with this. We do this all day long, every day in our live trade room and our new chat room here at School of Trade. Just built a brand new chat room here. So we'll be here to help you guys out every step of the way. As we go lower, I've got support levels listed below. That's where I'll look for sellers to try and fail. And then if I can get long off those lows, I've got targets waiting for us overhead. That is also the same spot where I'll look for the buyers to try and fail and sell it back down. All right? Very, very important stuff here. We saw a big draw in inventories on Tuesday night, another big draw in inventories on Wednesday this morning at 10:30, and price collapses. It just goes to show you the news is noise, guys. A big draw in inventories, why would that have price going lower? Exactly. Another example that news is noise. I trust the chart. I trust the chart, not CNBC or Bloomberg or investing.com or whatever the heck news resource you guys are using. Okay, so I would question everything you hear on the news media and follow the chart. The chart won't let you down. Keep fading those range highs and range lows on crude, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning in the trade room. We'll be trading that market live in real time. How about the yellow? How about the yellow metal, the gold futures? Gold is bearish. Finally got that target we talked about in last night's newsletter. It's been removed off this chart. Go back and watch yesterday's newsletter if you want to see that target right around that 69 area, 1169 area. So gold is bearish, but boy, we are oversold. And is that a spike in channel pattern I see here? I think it is a spike in channel. Let's talk about this. Sellers, we know what you guys are doing out there. We know what the bears are up to right now. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now. The bears are tried once, tried twice, tried three times. They're trying here to get down to that 62.7. If you're a member of mine, you know why, right? This bearish channel down here. We have these late adopters who come into the market. Price goes up. Great bargain for sellers to get short. And this is nothing new. We've been talking about this the last few weeks on gold, right? Every time the price goes up, we're selling it back down, selling it back down, selling it back down. We've yet to finish the move, though, down to our ideal target, which we've been talking about again for a few weeks now, all the way back to that first week in June. 62.7 is where we're shooting for right now. So that's the ultimate goal. And obviously, we've got some more support levels waiting for us down bottom, which will be great runners for you. But the meat and potatoes comes off here at 62.7, right, that range low. Sellers, you guys know the target. But now let's talk about the spike in channel. Now, this spike in channel, we talked about this, what was it, last week, about a week and a half ago, right? Got a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions, got a bunch of great feedback on that video that I did about spike in channels. But let's talk about this for a second. A spike in channel is a very important pattern to understand. And basically what you want to understand is that a spike in channel starts with a spike. The spike is strength, right? The spike is commitment. Remember, like I said last time, when I see a spike in channel, right? This is a spike in channel. A flag pattern would go like this, right? That'd be a flag where it kind of goes against the spike down. Does that make sense? So I'm talking about a spike in channel here. The spike in channel we're seeing on gold, it just screams fully committed. Remember what I said before last time, and I recall what it was. I think it was a couple Thursdays ago before we went on break. But remember, when I see a spike in channel like this, I picture that poker table where all the chips are pushed into the middle. The sellers are fully committed. How do you get more sellers now? And that's what happens is when you see the big spike down, this lazy channel, the reason why it's so lazy like this is because there aren't that many more sellers to keep selling. They're already committed. So how do we get more sellers in the market? It needs to correct. It needs to correct for two reasons. One, if I'm already short from way up here, if I'm selling way up top there, if I'm already short, I've got to take some profit. So if I'm a bear, I need to take some profit if I'm going to sell again. And what happens when we get profit taking? Yeah, price goes up, right? If the bears take their profit. Also, too, we need price to go higher to attract more sellers. See, when price goes higher, now additional sellers enter the market because now it's a better value, and then price will usually return. If it doesn't keep going, it'll usually go all the way back to where it came from. So when we see this spike in channel right now on the gold, I think the sellers are fully committed right now. Remember, think of the poker game. All the chips are in the middle. Because those sellers are fully committed, I mean, look at how far away from the moving average. That's the 200 moving average there at 83.7, right? We call that the BMT, the big money trigger line. We know that we have a lot of room to go back up to that 200 moving average before we come back. So we're well oversold. We get a spike in channels. Sellers are fully committed. It's going to be very difficult for this to continue unless what? Unless the sellers take profit, which will push price higher, or we have to get something else. There has to be something else that comes out to get additional sellers to enter the market. What could that something be? Well, we know we get a soap opera going here regarding Greece and the Eurozone right now. Is anybody even listening to that anymore? I would love to say absolutely, right? If they come out with a solution in Greece, but there's been so many so-called solutions and fits and starts here trying to get that solution for Greece. So boy, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not going to rely on Greece to be the catalyst to keep this thing going, right? I'm not going to rely on it right now. So the only real scenario that I see right now is we've got to get some of these sellers to take some profit. That's going to push that price higher, and then we're going to get some more selling opportunities as this price goes higher. So looking for price to correct, and then we're looking for additional selling opportunities as we keep going lower. Now, I might be wrong, and I'm going to have to go out and really look at this tomorrow morning, and if we continue to see this real strong bearish tone to it, I'm going to keep selling right along with the bears, and we'll take our profit off at 62.7, and then we'll look again for the correction. But again, this spike in channel is getting a little bit overdone here right now. Something's got to give. Those sellers are fully committed. It should come up off these lows, and then you know what's going to happen next, right? You're going to see again buyers try, buyers fail, right? So at resistance, look for reversal patterns, look for buyer failure patterns, or look for the turn and then wave patterns, continuation patterns, which we talk about in our intermediate course, right? Pushing on down to that seller target. Bottom line is, guys, sellers, you guys want to stay patient right now unless we see just blatant sell pressure here in London going to U.S. Remember, gold's going to be an early day mover, right? So Euro traders or London session traders and U.S. morning session traders tomorrow morning, we'll be looking closely at that. Stay patient if you're a seller. We're expecting a little bit of a deeper correction than normal because they're all right there. They're fully engaged here right now, and I've got plenty of selling opportunities waiting for us on the gold, and then of course we have some targets waiting for us to the downside. What if you're a buyer right now? Because you might be listening to me right now and saying, so you're telling me to buy. Well, what I would do is, if you want to buy in a bearish trend, and I know some of you guys and gals are finishing my sentence right now, how do you buy in a bearish trend? Look for short-term resistance, and look for where those sellers are trying and failing. So on an intraday chart, I guarantee you there's going to be some short-term resistance levels here before you get to the major resistance, which is what we're waiting for. Find those short-term resistance levels. If you need help, come out and see me tomorrow in the trade room. We'll walk you through the whole thing in real time. But bottom line, though, if you want to be a buyer, buy into those stop losses of those sellers. That's going to be where you get the easiest money out of this market for gold. Let's keep moving, shall we? From that funny yellow metal now to the E-mini, the S&P 500, the ES futures. This is a 12 JJ bar, just as we expected. Okay, pretty much just as we expected. Play this one like a fiddle. Most of the time, gaps get filled. Last night, we talked about the weekend gap. And guys, you're going to see a lot of weekend gaps during the summertime. You do. You see quite a bit of weekend gaps during the summertime. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that Sunday evening trading session, remember, these are electronic markets these days. They actually open up on Sunday at 6 p.m. See, learn something new every day with me. The markets open up at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Who the heck is at a computer on Sunday night in the summertime, right? So there's a lot of that fluff that goes around. Low volume environments, those gaps come from. We call them weekend gaps, right? They're just a simply difference between Friday and Sunday night. That's all they are. Now, looking at this, S&P is range bound. We failed, big clue here, we failed to retest the highs. Remember this from last night. We talked about this last night's newsletter. The mission here, remember, markets always have an objective. They're not just hanging out. Markets always have an objective. And we know they're coming off range lows. And tell me again, guys and gals, what do markets do going from lows? They rotate to highs. What do they do from the highs? They rotate to the lows. From the highs to the lows to the highs, right? Back and forth. Well, what is it telling me if we were unable to reach those highs? Just guess. I'll give you a hint. It ain't bullish. Okay? So it makes sense. A process of elimination, it's either bullish or bearish. It's one or the other. We fail to hit those range highs and we collapse and we fill the weekend gap. It's exactly what we talked about last night in the newsletter. So we filled the gap, no surprise there, and the undershoot of the channel high, that little short-term bull channel, and the undershoot of the range high makes this market feel quite heavy. So sellers will look for a bounce off support. This is what I was talking about. If you're a bear right now, and I'm definitely leaning to the bear side, I'm going to wait for proof. Remember, as a professional, we anticipate. We can try to interpret, but we always need proof. Okay, so we're not measured move off the high, right? Measured move up to the high. We fail to hit the extension. We fail to hit the range highs. And now we fill that weekend gap. And we're sitting right here at double zeros. Sitting right at the BMT. Who do you think is going to enter the market here? Buyers. The buyers right now, if you're a bull, you're trying to run this sucker up to that range high again, right? That's the target if you're a bull right now. I've got some short-term targets waiting for you. Right, take a little bit off there because there is going to be a short-term trading range right there. So that would be your magnet. But that's also going to be a place where the sellers will definitely be looking to come in here. So I would definitely expect there to be a bounce off of this support. Okay, expect a bounce off of this support. We fulfilled the mission. We filled the gap. But the undershoot makes me suspicious of these bulls. What are we looking for right now? I'm looking for these buyers to fail. I'm going to be looking for opportunities to sell where short-term support levels are trying to hold, and I can sell right into basically the sell stops of the buyers. So imagine now where these buyers will have their stop losses, and that's where you want to be looking for the selling opportunities. You've got targets waiting for you to the downside. This is the S&P, so we're not going to get huge moves on it, but you've got some great targets waiting for you to the downside. So here's what I'd be looking for. Here's what I'd be looking for right now in the S&P. First of all, trend line coming down, short-term trading range overhead. Definitely expect a bounce up, test the trend line, test the range low, right, 10 1/4, bounce up, test the trend line, and we go lower. That would be the most logical. But this is the S&P we're talking about. You're competing against the smartest, most well-capitalized minds in the world. Let's be honest. This is the S&P. This is varsity, right? This is the big boys and girls here. These guys and gals have earned the right to be respected. So it's probably going to try to make a run above and then fake out those buyers and come down. So stay patient for it. Wait for the failure around this low. Look for a fake break at that low here and then the collapse. Maybe it just rolls over and plays dead. I'll be very surprised if I come in tomorrow morning and we've already rolled over and just dumped back down. Remember, this is the S&P we're talking about. This market was built to take your money and send you home crying. So we're looking at this as a heavy market right now. If you're a bull, you got the green light right now, baby, if you're a bull, but use a tight stop on that, lock up some profit, and then let it run. If you're a bear right now, and I do have to lean on the bear side right now because of the undershoot, okay, really that's the only reason why, right? I'm not listening to the news right now, although you could justify even more bearishness because of all the stuff we're hearing about. Heck, even ICANN came out today and mentioned how this market felt like an overheated 2007. So a lot of news chatter here that could also be thrown on the fire here right now. But again, I would expect this price to bounce and then look for that failure and use those support levels down below. Buyers, get to it quickly, lock up that profit, and be aware this market does feel heavy. Sellers, find those short-term pullbacks and sell right into those stop losses. Lock up a quick target, move that stop down, and leave a runner down to those targets we have waiting for you below. As always, we'll be watching this market tomorrow morning, live in real time in our trade room. Come out and see us. Last but not least, Euro, a sleeper here today. Well, we got the bulls to make some money on this one. We did get the jump up off those lows, if you remember from last night's newsletter. My exact words from last night's newsletter was, and we were trading down around these lows in last night's newsletter. We were down around here in last night's newsletter. So my exact words last night were, buyers, you guys have short-term opportunities before sellers will come in and push this thing lower. As of right now, this is my second push higher here, and I would be looking for a measured move as we go higher. That's why I've got the ABCD marked up there before we make this push lower. I'll tell you, if there's one market out there right now that is a definite question mark, it's this one. And this does revolve around Greece. This has that analysis paralysis feeling to it right now, that self-fulfilling prophecy where people know there's something coming and they're clearly staying away. I mean, you can see it really went range bound here right now. Bottom line is we're bearish here on the euro right now. Trading sideways. Sellers, you guys are looking for opportunities at resistance levels above. Again, I would be looking at this as a measured move, then to take it lower, right? That's where you're going to probably see the best opportunities to sell short on this. While the buyers, you guys want to wait to see the sellers fail at resistance for the easiest buying opportunities. So, for example, as we're going higher, sellers come in, they fail, right? That's going to be your buying opportunity back inside that range. Again, I think, though, trust this ABCD here for you bulls right now. That's going to be your target back up in that range here with that ABCD. Okay, again, sellers, you guys have more long-term control. Buyers, you guys have very, very short-term opportunities. And then as we go higher, if you're a bull, you've got to wait for those sellers to try at these resistance areas and then buy into their stop losses. Okay, I hate to say this, but keep an eye on that news from Greece because they're really it's back and forth right now, and that's clearly what's affecting this market here on the euro. All right, guys, that'll do it here for us for the charts here for this evening. Don't forget, you can download all these charts right below the video for tonight. You can register for our newsletter mailing list, and as I always say, if you have some free time here this evening, thank you so much for watching, by the way. Check out our free trial here at schooloftrade.com. We get the best free trial in the business. We've been doing this longer than anybody else on the interwebs. I'll tell you that much. You're going to learn more with me in 1 week than anywhere else you go on the internet. Also, we have 3 levels of membership. You can learn more about what it means to be a student. And guys, I've always got someone standing by 24/7, 365 to give you a hand if you need any help. Guys and gals, as always, I know you're probably watching this video alone at your computer right now, but you're never alone in your trading career. We look forward to welcoming you into the fastest growing community of traders on the interwebs here at School of Trade. Thanks so much for being here. Shall we do it again? Same time, same place for a Thursday edition of our nightly newsletter. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Trade Room for members opens up at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, our chat room is open 24/7, 365. My name is Joseph. Hope you guys are enjoying this wonderful summertime weather. You guys be well out there. Be nice to each other. Wear your helmet and your seatbelt. I'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.